I mean, watching it made me want to go on a bit of a rabbit warren of what really happened with Hitler, what happened with the Russians, what happened with the Germans. Did it have the same effect on you when you read the script?
Yeah, it did really. I mean, Ben lured me into that question, and I mean, we know so much. There's so many amazing stories and obviously facts about World War II and about all of the world wars really. But the idea of going down the rabbit hole, as you said, of what actually happened. I mean, basically a 20-minute conversation turned into 3 hours of us speculating, and it's fun to do so. I think Ben does this brilliantly, where he's mixed a lot of history, a lot of true history, stuff that I didn't know about, and then brought in this element as well of speculation and sort of wonder.
Yeah, it does actually. And what I loved about your performance is it's incredibly authentic. And I just wondered, even though you're not representing somebody that really lived, you are representing people that did kind of live beyond the war and are scarred from that. And I just wondered, with that kind of, you're representing people. Was that something that was in your mind as well?
It wasn't at the initial time, but as we were filming with lots of different nationalities, we were learning foreign tongues, we were learning just all these little elements. And like, Ben won't mind me saying this, the director, he's a huge geek for all of this stuff. He knows so much about what the werewolf were like, and the various different propaganda machines that steer things, and it's a slippery slope. Like I say, 20 minutes turned into 2 hours very quickly talking to him about it. But I'm fascinated by it, and I think it's a great way of capturing the imagination of a new young audience, while also reminding us that less than 100 years ago these atrocities were taking place.
Absolutely, and on a brighter note, you've got a book coming out. Are you excited?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I actually got it on me. Do you want me to? No, I don't.
My magic.
Yeah, well, yes, that will be coming out in October. I'm very excited to have finished that. It's been a lot of years in the making, but yes, lots of insights as to life growing up on the Potter films. I'll let you read it.
I have to say, you are put to your paces in this film, aren't you?
I know, it was intense, very intense. It's intense watching it back, even though it's me in it. And there's moments there where I got serious frights still, and it's the second time I've watched it.
What's great is that it is a really kind of female-led protagonist. You know, she's strong, but it's not overacted. It feels very real.
Thank you very much. I think that was the challenge with this. I mean, playing a different era is always hard. You don't want to be overacting. Playing a soldier, playing a Russian soldier, trying to make it believable that she's leading all these men, that she has to find that strength. It was hard. It was definitely a challenge.
Is there definitely a vulnerability in her as well?
Well, yeah, she's been through a lot. She's done a lot of things that she probably regrets, and I think that was important there, that nobody's perfect. All of our characters are flawed. That's what makes them interesting. But yeah, it was important to kind of have that vulnerability at the beginning, but be able to find that strength through that inner conflict that she has of following orders or doing what she thinks right, and being supported in that and going for it. She goes for it. She goes for what she believes in.
And what's great about this film as well, for an actor, space and the environment that you're working in really helps kind of enhance your performance. And working out in the forest, I imagine, made the experience much more visceral.
Yes, I love it. I love being out in the forest. And the film I did just before Burial was Wrong Turn, where we were out in the forest for the whole production as well, which I love it. It makes you get into character. And I mean, you can do amazing shows in studios, of course, but there's nothing like being in the real place. And those shots of the forest in Estonia, that's what it's really like. So it's very impressive when you're there. I mean, there's isolated forest. Yes, very isolated, which helps when you're playing different era as well.
Absolutely. And the other thing I liked about the film, one of the many things, is that it kind of it gives us an alternate reality on history. It makes us wonder what if.
I think that's what's interesting with war films and war stories. There's always new stories, there's always new perspectives. So many people had different experiences, and this is just a new one.
Congratulations with the film. I mean, it really is a phenomenal story, and for me, it's sent me kind of on this rabbit warren of wanting to find out more. Could you tell us a bit more about the film?
The film started off from the kernel of the the idea, the fact that they tried to bury the remains of Hitler after the last days of the war when they found him, and really try and smuggle it out of Berlin and hide the fact that he died. Stalin didn't want anybody to know that he died. So that was the kernel of the idea. That's what started it. But, you know, what the story goes on to be is more of like a hunt for buried treasure and a fight over the remains of Hitler, yeah.
And your cast members are put to their paces in this film, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then some, yeah. You know, we're in the forest, even in filming as well, the actual process of making the film as well. We were out in the wild, in the cold and the warm, and the bugs and the trees, and then the actors in their parts on the film were like, you know, shot at and stabbed many times.
I imagine, you know, that kind of physical interaction makes it a very kind of visceral response for the actors to respond against.
Yeah, I think if you can give actors something visceral to play off of, it always works well. You know, they get something to sort of like rally against. And also, I think that just the costumes, the period costumes, the fact that we were on location, all that helps, I think, hopefully, you know, for the actors